So the Royal Rumble 2022. These are my favorite matches of the year. They're so vibrant and alive with athleticism and spectacle. And no matter how much you think you know in advance, there's even more there to surprise you. I cannot wait to see what you all think about this one. So let's get right to it. These are my predictions for Royal Rumble 2022. Oh yeah, it's over here. Quick announcement, you can now become a Patreon backer. If you enjoy the content and you'd like to support us more, and if you would like exclusive early access to all of the reviews, then please consider backing me on Patreon. And there's a link in the description. So, we'll begin with Miz and Maurice versus Edge and Beth Phoenix. Okay, so Maurice's hand must be activating her cloaking powers because she's been disappearing like crazy whenever the Grit couple comes around. Excuse me. But not even security guards could keep the Glamazon and Edge from the A-lister and his madam. So while the Miz and Maurice will prove wily in truly hilarious ways, sorry about that. While Miz and Maurice will prove wily in truly hilarious ways, Edge and Beth Phoenix will definitely take this one. It wouldn't surprise me if Edge didn't actually end up back in the men's Royal Rumble later on in the night, or Beth Phoenix in the women's Royal Rumble. And I'm kind of hoping that this puts a pin in the feud because I really want to see what's going to happen with Edge and whomever he may be and who he may be with in the lead up to WrestleMania. I mean, if it's the Miz, that's okay, but they need to do something different with it. So next we have the Raw Women's Championship. Becky Lynch, our champion, goes one-on-one with Miss Dewdrop. So I love the build between these two. And big time Beck's kind of playing up the Celt versus Celt aspect and Dewdrop tearing her down. Seeing her kind of for what she is, the fact that she's been avoiding Bianca and Liv Morgan by choosing what she thinks is the easiest option, Dewdrop. There's been a lot of emphasis on Becky Lynch not being able to manhandle slam Dewdrop, but obviously that's not the only thing in her arsenal, so I fully expect Becky Lynch to actually win, but via a disarm her. Now, she could get potentially disqualified, but if something like that happens, then I suspect that this will go on a little bit longer into WrestleMania. And there will actually be a third side to this feud, a third person that'll get added in, and that'll be the Royal Rumble winner. So next there is Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship. Now my views on this one are going to be a little bit controversial, so if you don't like stuff like that, then go ahead and skip down to the end to find out this prediction. Not the end of the video, the end of this particular section. Okay. You've heard it a million times. WWE is a business. Ethically challenging, certainly, but a business, and a business that knows their market. They have the WWE universe. A whole universe has a bunch of different planets in And when they looked to expand to India, they anointed Jinder Mahal as WWE champion. And I thought he got way too much hate while he was champion. Like, even if it was a little soon when it happened, he really grew into that role. And for my money, he was a pretty good heel champion. But yesterday, he was on Sami Zayn. I mean, he was on In Zayn with Sami Zayn. That's what's going on with Jinder Mahal right now. Last year, they gave us Bobby Lashley and Bianca Belair in the space of a year. But they primed black folks just a little bit with Big E. Because he was champion, but not for very long, and he wasn't taken that seriously in his time. And he's a little bit of a clown in his character. Now, am I saying that Bobby Lashley and Bianca Belair are the same as Jinder Mahal? Is Jinder Mahal the same as Big E? Not in any way whatsoever. They're all different superstars, and they all have different gifts. But what I am saying now is, in the company's minds, it's time to now cater to a new group. Older, whiter. The ones who will buy their grandkids New Day t-shirts because they're a good pop. And the grandkids love the New Day. But in their hearts, they're still kind of lusting a little bit for the glory days, when Hulkamania was running wild. And they want something that looks a little bit closer to that as their champion. The world is changing, and they're afraid. And they need a legitimate reason to dislike a Bobby Lashley. And so, Brock Lesnar will not only definitively beat Bobby Lashley, he'll do it despite MVP interfering on Lashley's behalf. Still there? Wonderful. Let's get to the Universal Championship match. Going one too far. So there is the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, versus the Architect, the future perpetuator of the heist of the century, the Monday Night Messiah, the Friday Night Messiah, the Visionary, the Drip God, Seth freaking Rollins. I think that's all of them. So this has been the most fascinating build-up to the Rumble of all of them. Seth even had that Four Tops suit on. I ain't mad at you, honey. But one of the best aspects is where each of them lies within the feud. I haven't been able to parse out from week to week who on earth is the babyface and who's the heel. But with last night's standoff, I think there may have been an answer. And it was buried into the bottom of Roman's tears. And Roman wiping his eyes, they took us back to 2014. The moment that steel chair snapped across Roman's back. And he fell into those ropes. Pro wrestling's shot heard around the world, right? The implosion of the most dominant faction of modern history, the Shield. Now, maybe they're a little more complex than who's on which side. Maybe there is no good or evil, only opportunity. Maybe that's the story. Despite Seth and Roman, though, being at the points in their careers where they're both Teflon, Roman's character needs to be champion a little bit longer. Seth's in another place. He's probably going to start tagging with Kevin Owens pretty soon, so I think Roman's going to retain. So on to the 30-woman Royal Rumble match. So I am super split on this one. I'm pretty sure that Bianca will repeat, or at least I was until I heard the reports about Ronda Rousey potentially coming back. I hope they're not going to do an MMA takeover type thing where she wins the women's Royal Rumble and Brock Lesnar wins the men's. But that said, they love them some Ronda Rousey. And so the W's tend to follow wherever she is. But that said, she has talked a lot of smack, pun intended, about the WWE. So they might not want to put her back right at the top. They might want to wait a little bit longer until like Money in the Bank or SummerSlam, somewhere in that range. I'm pretty sure that the Royal Rumble winner is between Bianca Belair and Ronda Rousey, but I think I'm going to go with my heart on this one and say that Bianca is going to repeat and be the Royal Rumble winner twice in 2 years. But Ronda Rousey will still be part of the Final Four. It'll be her, Bianca, Charlotte, and Asuka will come back. She'll be part of the Final Four. So lastly, we have the 30-man Royal Rumble match. This is usually the main event. Not always, but usually. All right. So who on earth out of all of these folks, none of which have really been built up, who is going to win the Royal Rumble? Just look across this sea of faces. Does anyone look, well, maybe other than Sheamus. In fact, go back and watch my SmackDown, Talking Smack review on that. Other than Sheamus, does anybody look like it? Not really. Now, why is that? That is because Roman Reigns is going to be the male Charlotte. He's going to win, which is going to re-establish him as a heel after the whole, Seth Rollins pulling him back into 2014 when he was a babyface thing. This is going to re-establish him as a heel, and it's going to add to his heat, right? With all of this established talent that really need to win the Royal Rumble because they haven't been built up, having Roman go over all of them is going to give folks serious 2015 vibes, and they are not going to like it. But that's good this time because he is here. There hasn't been much mention of the coveted 30 or number 30 slot this time, and I think it's because someone in here is going to win that hasn't been declared yet. But why would Roman Reigns be the male Charlotte Flair here? Why? To set up his Universal Championship match at WrestleMania as the ultimate test of family loyalty. He's had to bail the Usos out very recently. And now Jay has kind of stepped a little bit ahead of him in accepting that stakes match a couple of weeks ago that got the Usos barred from ringside tonight. My theory is that after Roman retains, he enters the Royal Rumble and wins to choose his own WrestleMania challenger, Jey Uso. It may even come down to he and Roman as the final two, and if Jey does eliminate himself, Roman can then select Jimmy for WrestleMania, putting on his shoulders a similar test of loyalty as the one that Jey just passed. Then when Jimmy actually draws the line and fights him, losing, of course, that will tear a serious rend in the, I was about to say the shield, in the bloodline which will take them in a completely new direction in how they handle that. But maybe they'll do all of that just for Saudi Arabia, and then they'll circle back around to Brock for Mania. Who knows? It's no telling. Maybe none of that will happen. But what do you all think? Will Brock Lesnar retain? Will Roman Reigns win the Royal Rumble? Will Becky Lynch leave as Raw Women's Champion? Will Bianca Belair win the Women's Royal Rumble? Let me know any thoughts that you have down in the comments. And be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Tap that bell icon to make sure you get notifications for when new videos come out. And my apologies for all of the tech stuff, all of the road noise. There's so many ways that this went wrong before it went less wrong in this video. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Check out the Patreon page. See if you want to be a Casualeann backer. And I'll see you all soon.